Hey, what's up, good people? It's good to be back before you the day after Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to all the wonderful participating fathers, okay? My dad used to say even a maggot can have a baby. That doesn't make you an involved father, like my brother said on yesterday. Hey, listen, we got a lot to talk about. I always say that because we always have a lot to talk about. But first, you're going to know what I'm going to ask for. Go ahead and hit that like button. That's how you just continue to support me by just doing something small for me as I work hard for the family. Now, let's look at the market. We're going to talk about two whoppers, all right? Two whoppers, all right, of stock. Let's go right into what happened today, okay? So we could see that the Nasdaq took an absolute dive. We were trading the Nasdaq and we printed bank. We'll go to that later. But it fell off a cliff and never recovered. It struggled. The S&P only down 27 points, but the Dow was up 148 points. But most of you here have a lot of your stock. Here's where AI lives, guys. And let's just be clear with that. Now, before we go into these two stocks, let's talk about one of the things that's happening that is actually whipsawing the market, and that's the U.S.-Iran conflict. Okay, so we have Vice President J.D. Vance said today, Monday, that Iran would allow nuclear inspectors to return to the country after he called a very, very good first day of U.S.-Iran negotiations in Switzerland. Okay, but Iran's foreign minister, however, said earlier that real negotiations on the nuclear issue have yet started or haven't yet. Let's talk about Micron. Now, Micron is a whopper. Micron, just when you think it can't go any higher, it pulls another one out of the bag. Listen to this.
At new all-time highs, the stock up about 5% today, up at session highs after the company announced a deal with Anthropic, where Anthropic is securing multi-year supply. Also, the goal is for these two companies to work together to co-design high bandwidth memory. And also, Micron is investing in Anthropic as well. So that could be very bullish for Micron investors if Anthropic goes public and the valuation there. If you take a look at the stock year to date, it's up more than 300% year to date. So it's been quite a run up for this stock. The big earnings test, though, will be this Wednesday when Micron announces its quarterly results. This has become an infrastructure play that is an indispensable sort of infrastructure play when you talk about the AI trade. All eyes are going to be on their supply guidance, on pricing trends, on their gross margins. And I would venture to say that if we've seen Nvidia as the big player, this is really rivaling this Nvidia as well, just because of the sheer immensity of this company, its $1 trillion valuation, the big run-up that we've seen with this stock over the last couple of years. You've got now UBS that's putting a $1,500 price target on this stock. Wall Street overwhelmingly bullish. But I will say also that you have traders that have been in the options market that have been betting that there could be a pullback. So even if they do beat, historically, Micron is one of these stocks where they beat, but it sometimes gets the sell the news kind of pressure on the stock. So you have traders that are positioned as well for that. But certainly this has been a leader of the S&P 500 this year that has been really guiding the S&P 500 higher, and also has been a leader among the chip space. You've got SanDisk also that is at all-time highs. You've got SK Hynix, Samsung, also these companies, its peers. So a lot will be riding on the earnings report this Wednesday, Josh.
Micron has turned into an absolute rocket. And, you know, I am not going to lie. I took a little profits, which was the reasonable thing to do. But new news keeps coming out, okay? So you can't look back and say, I shouldn't have took profits, because what will normally happen is it just takes a dive, right? You sell into strength, right? And that's one of the things that wise investors do. But we were looking at, there's no way, not too long ago, that Micron would hit $1,000. It hit $1,000. Now UBS is saying $1,500 as it hits $1,200. It just won't stop. Micron has turned into Nvidia over the last week, 14, over the last month, 61%. Year to date, 328%. Over the last year, 892%. Absolutely insane. Guys, remember when it was under $100? Look at that. In the last year, it goes from $122 to $1,200. Absolute rocket. But remember what happened with Nvidia. At some point, it's going to get priced to perfection. Now, look at who they are partnering with, okay? One of the next big IPOs. You got two massive IPOs that's coming, Anthropic and OpenAI, and they are partnering, as you could see, all right? So Micron is one of those skyrockets that just keeps going on, but just like the lady said, in the options market, they're looking and waiting for it to fall. Now, let's look at, speaking about rockets, let's look at SpaceX. SpaceX rocketed up and then it turned around and fell down. Let's look at this.
SpaceX is tumbling again following its IPO earlier this month. The three-day losing streak caps a big pop in that stock. Yahoo Finance's Praz Sumarain joining here with the latest. All right, Praz, so SpaceX now giving back a chunk of those IPO gains. What do you make of that, Praz? Is that just normal volatility for a new name, or no, something else is going on here?
It's hard to say, right? You know, the stock had sort of a monster run up right out of the gate, and now we have, 3 down days, right? One big one today. So, recently you've seen the entrance of options, things like that. Perhaps some investors looking to lock in some gains here, right? Because after you had that big run up, and then maybe you want to sort of enjoy that. But I think a lot of this is due to the fact that there's a small float, right, at the moment. It's like 4.2%. So small moves can be amplified both to the upside or the downside. Is sort of how I see it right now.
This headline today as well, Cross, that the company's reportedly exploring this $20 billion bond sale. What do we know about that?
Yeah, I think Josh, this is also part of the story, right? We have this bond offering, right? So reportedly $20 billion to pay off a bridge loan. So it was not unexpected, right? But it isn't exactly a good thing either. After you raise $85 billion in an IPO, why can't those proceeds be used to pay off this bridge loan? One that, mind you, was taken out to refinance the XAI deal, right? So that's another point of contention for some SpaceX watchers. They see, the sort of the structure of the company and why they need to raise $20 billion. You could also argue that they're just looking to tap as much money as they can right now while the getting is good.
So SpaceX is doing a $20 billion bond sale, right? So this company has IPO'd, raised all of this money, and still is not profitable, right? And so remember when I said I'm going to wait and I'm going to waive bon voyage and all of that and wait for the lockup period to be over. And what is the lockup period? Take a look. So let's take a look here. SpaceX utilizes a staged and tiered lockup structure rather than the traditional 180-day lockup cliff. The first significant unlock occurs after the company's first quarterly earnings report, expected in late July or August, releasing up to 20 to 30% of restricted shares with additional periodic traces following before all remaining shares are released at 180 days. Okay, that puts us around December 8th, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. Here are some of the stages I want you to look at, because here's where Larry is going to be buying. Lockup schedule and milestones. The lockup framework is broken down into specific intervals based on earnings. time and stock performance. Look at this. First earnings release unlocked 20% of restricted shares become eligible for sale shortly after the second quarter earnings report, with an additional 10% unlock if the stock trades at least 30% above the IPO price, right? Phase time trances. Investors can sell in increments of, this is you guys that bought, 7% at 70, 90, 105, 120, and 135 days after the public listing. A lot of you guys didn't read, but you wasn't supposed to sell your shares when you bought them through your broker. But you say, hey, am I in trouble for selling my shares? It just means that they can restrict you from getting into any future IPOs, okay? So the quarter earnings release, an additional 28% unlocked after the company's third quarter earnings report, 180-day mark. All remaining shares are released on the 180-day anniversary post-IPO, which puts us at December 8th, okay? And so here's what I think could happen. The stock, even before December 8th, can be spooked. Of course, we got the options market, and you have to keep an eye on that. Sometimes it's too early to tell. You know, you got calls and puts, and then when the puts outweigh the calls greatly, that's going to be a lot of downward pressure on SpaceX. And remember, just like trading places, I'm going to be like Eddie Murphy. I'll buy. Just like trading places. I love that movie because I'm going to be buying as people are in fear, selling their shares when this lockup period is over. Okay? So I want you to have a full understanding when Larry is going to be buying. Of course, I'm going to let you guys know. Of course, the people in Money Moves will know first. Of course. Okay? So now, what I want you guys to do is two things. Number one, if you want to come earn and learn with us, this is what we did this morning. We rode these cues all the way down just like we were on a sled, because we went up and we printed a red light, and as the candles dropped beneath the 9 EMA, which is this dotted line, this is my traffic trader, we rode this puppy down, hitting all of these levels. I give you these levels before the market is over, right? And then for my traders that stayed in, they got in short options, calls, and puts, and then a final flush down, okay? It started to run back up and recover at the end, but you know, I teach my money movers, like, listen, don't be greedy, take your money, run. We were 7 for 7 this morning. Come and join us. Now, there's going to be 2 links, guys. And this is real easy. A lot of people come and they say, hey, Larry, where is the link? Where is the link? Listen, if you're on your phone, just click at the bottom where it says more. And then when you see more, you'll see a drop down, okay? And on that drop down, that's where you will see description. And that's where you will see all of the links. See, just like here. See here, read more, and you drop down and it'll show you where everything is. If you're on your computer, just hit more and it'll drop down and you will see Money Moves. Now, I'm going to have 2 links. The paid link will be the top. If you just want to come, take all the options class, learn, and make money with us right now, that's going to be the top link. If you say, hey, I want to wait, beneath that, I have a free community. I want you to at least join the free community. 2 things is going to happen there. The next time I give a free trial, it's going to be through the free community. And I'm going to start teaching when and how to buy long-term investments. I'm going to start that. If you're in the paid Money Moves, you don't have to join the free community. You get everything. I will be giving you that plus much more. But if you just want to learn, that's where I'm going to be doing my more in-depth teaching. So make sure you click one or both of those links beneath, okay? You don't have to click both if you do the paid. All right, we will see you tomorrow, guys. Just wanted to come in and discuss these two big movers with you. There's plenty of money to be made. All right? All right. I made it through allergy and everything. I made it through. We'll see you tomorrow. Live, love, laugh, and learn.